I fell in love with you. We fell in love with you. Guys like us just don't follow the fucking sky, you know?
He told you he was a god and never back down on you.
Let's keep zoning, let's keep floating, let's keep
Told you George Bush doesn't care about black people.
It ain't over in the morning, you'll be running back to me. Heart was broken, I am
Killed your mom and told you to be quiet about it.
This is more than just a moment.
How dare them, gay, how dare them.
This is shit that make rap niggas mad. Them think they cool niggas mad.
It's all good, we here with
bad
you, dog.
Bitches more bad. You should've bought her more ass.
We all here with you,
Tell me
dog.
where we at. I put nerves on the map. Now this Urkel in your bitch. Did I do that?
The truth shall not be televised, as they say. This is the Book of Ye.
Beautiful, naked, big-titted women just don't follow the sky, you know?
Sky, you know. Sky, you know. Them beautiful big titty but naked women just don't follow the sky, you know. Tell me how you know. I've been searching high and low. And I can tell you one thing. Beautiful big titty but naked women just don't follow the sky, you know. Easy how you doing, huh? Easy how you doing.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome all. I'm your host with the motherfucking most, Chill Murray. Live from the Spot Podcast. And this is the Book of Ye. And what happened to Kanye West? Well, a lot of things have happened to Kanye West over the years. A lot of things have happened to Kanye West over the years. This one is going to be more on this is going to focus more on the derailment of the career. And more so him finding his new journey with his wife Bianca. And we're going to focus more on how he was blackballed, why he was blackballed in his career, in the industry as well. And we're going to basically just put a timeline together on a lot of this conspiracy theories that was going on surrounding Mr. Kanye West. So, without further ado, I bring to you the Book of Ye, and we're going to start from, of course, 2007. 2007, the tragic passing of his mother, where Dr. Jan Adams, the surgeon, was blamed for the loss of his mother. But I want you guys to take a listen to what happened when Dr. Jan Adams got on Larry King first.
Donda West, the mother of rapper Kanye West, was laid to rest today in her hometown, Oklahoma City. She died last week, shortly after having cosmetic surgery. The official cause of death won't be made until the toxicology tests are completed, but the Los Angeles coroner has said that she apparently died from surgical complications. Tonight on Larry King Live, and you'll hear Larry tell it himself shortly, the surgeon who operated on West was supposed to give his first on-camera interview since her death. That's what Dr. Jan Adams agreed to, anyway. But when he got to the studio, he changed his mind, saying that Donda West's family had served him with a cease and desist order. Larry's take next. First, let's take a look.
And we now welcome to Larry King Live Dr. Jan Adams, the plastic surgeon who performed plastic surgery on the late Donda West. And I understand you want to say something.
Yeah, Larry, what I really want to say is I want to thank you for this opportunity. Basically, I had come here to talk about things in the press that aren't accurate about me. But I have a tremendous amount of love and respect for the West family, and they've asked me not to go on. And I've said from the very beginning, I don't have a side in this. They are my side. And so I'm going to respect their wishes. And I'm going to apologize to you because I think I'm taking up your airtime. But I will not be on the show and I will not discuss any of that. I'm going to honor their wishes, okay?
Meaning you won't answer any questions about
None.
anything?
None.
All right, then how will you ever answer questions? I mean, where does this go?
Well, I will
I'm
talk
not
with
mentioning
them.
Mrs. West.
I will talk with them. When they're comfortable, then I'll be comfortable. If they're never comfortable, then I'll never be comfortable. They are what's important to me. I said that from the start, and that's what I'll continue to honor.
Then just a few things having nothing to do with them. Don't you want to speak out?
No.
You don't want to?
No. I do not.
All right, but you came here to speak out.
That's correct. But I'm going to honor their wishes.
It would take us till Christmas or beyond to list Larry King's achievements, but that was a first. In 50 years of broadcasting, he's never had a guest agree to go on the show, then change his mind while on the set.
Very interesting indeed that the family of Kanye West actually made a cease and desist order on him speaking for his own self. That one was very intriguing in itself. Why would the family of Kanye West not want the surgeon to explain what actually happened? If you're going to blame the surgeon for the death of Kanye West's mother, why not let him actually speak out? It only raised the question of who was to actually blame for Kanye West's mom's death.
Larry joins me now. Larry, a remarkable moment. What goes through your mind when you see your guest suddenly deciding, I'm leaving?
Well, I knew there was trouble, John, because about 8 minutes before the show, he called me aside. I got off the set, and he said, listen, I got this letter from the family. I'm here with my lawyer, and we're deciding what to do. And then I said, I got to go on. So I went on. We had a panel of journalists. And then they told me he's going on. I said, whoopee, he's going on. Okay, so we lost 8 minutes with the journalists, and they were very informative. And then he sat down, and you saw the rest.
So this came at the last minute, the warning from the family.
Very last minute. Now, he got that letter apparently late today. He got a fax, he said, sent to him at CNN. We didn't know what it was about. The cease and desist order, a family can't issue a cease and desist order. They can request, please don't talk. And I don't know why he wouldn't talk about things.
You heard that right there. The family couldn't even give him a cease and desist. They weren't allowed to, especially with him being the actual surgeon that performed it. So, it begs the question again, who actually gave him that information? On top of, who actually knew that he was going to be going on CNN that day that would give him that information to stop him from even speaking about it?
Other than Donda West. In other words, he could have talked about the DUIs and the accusations and malpractice suits, which to me would have resolved a lot of things, as he said. So in honoring their wishes, I'm not sure that their wishes were to not talk about anything. So it was kind of weird. And then the whole show got, and then we criminal lawyers calling in, executive producer calling in, Sanjay Gupta came on, and he added a lot, I think, of information, but it was some hour.
But did you get a sense when you had his lawyer on that that's their worry, that they're worried about where this case could go, or the family might be looking at legal options against him, and he's just decided?
You know, John, I didn't get any sense from the lawyer. He's a civil lawyer. I felt like he was the first time ever on television. And Dr. Adams wanted him to go on, and so he went on. He was uncomfortable, I felt. I mean, he answered the questions as best he could. It's not against the law for a doctor to talk about a patient. It may be against the common practice, not against the law. So he could have talked about anything. So I think that civil attorney was in difficult territories. It was a weird show.
Well, take me behind the curtain, if you will. What goes through your mind when you're sitting there, you start this conversation, and all of a sudden your guest starts getting up and ripping out his piece, and yet you were cool as a cucumber. Well, how about if we talk about this? How about if we talk about that?
I think that's just experience. All you can do, as you know, as a great broadcaster, all you can do is all you can do. The only way you can act is the only way you can act. You do the best you can in the circumstances. I used to say, nothing has ever happened before that hasn't happened before. In other words, I've had everything happen to me in 50 years, except that. I've had fires in the studio. I've had people fight. I've had people hit each other on the set, running for mayor of Miami Beach, punch each other. But I have never had a guest rip off the mic and walk and remain friendly. He stayed till the end. He was there at the end of the show. He was very friendly to me. He said he was taking my producer to dinner because she'd gone through so much over this.
You were gracious enough to say you'd come back from a scheduled vacation tomorrow if he talks to the West family and they would let him come back.
Yeah.
Before the show, when you got wind that there could be trouble, obviously you're trying to negotiate with him, say, hey, your name is being dragged through the mud.
What happened was, it's 7 minutes to 9, and then there was a little more minutes to 9, then it was 3 minutes to 9, and suddenly they're saying, you got to get on, and I ran down, and I didn't know who the guests were that were sitting there. They had to tell me, this is the lady from People magazine, this is the girl from American Morning, and we had 2 different guests in Los Angeles. It was really television on the fly.
Easier to do on radio, right?
Easier to do on radio. You bet.
Larry King, there are surprises in live television, but you handled that one as well as it can be done.
I appreciate your comments.
Thank you, Larry. You have a happy Thanksgiving. And
you too.
Maybe you'll be back at work tomorrow night. If so, we'll be watching.
One never knows.
We will check in to see. Larry, thank you so much. Up next, we'll dig deeper into what voters really think about Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama.
So, interesting enough, like I said, the family did the cease and desist. But what was more interesting that I thought about that was, why would the family do that, like I said, the day of that he was going on that interview? How did he get that information the day of? And it only makes you wonder, why was Kanye West's family trying to hide the information? If they're so-called blaming him for the actual death of his mom, why are they then trying to hide the information of how she actually passed? So then he does the Inside Edition interview, and we get some very intriguing answers that might give us a little bit more insight to how she actually passed.
He was once a nationally prominent cosmetic surgeon with his own TV show, The Other Half.
Things that go wrong don't go wrong that day. They generally go wrong 2 weeks after, a month after.
But overnight, Dr. Jan Adams lost everything. How did things go south so quickly? He's the physician who performed surgery on Kanye West's mom 8 years ago. She died the next day.
You're known as the doctor who killed Donda West.
Now in this world exclusive, Dr. Adams is determined to rebuild his battered reputation by revealing what he says happened to Donda West. He's calling on Kanye to clear his name.
Kanye West can end this by telling the truth.
And what do you believe that truth is?
The doctor had nothing to do with his mom's death.
Donda's death in November 2007 was huge national news.
Superstar Kanye West is mourning the death of his mother today.
And Dr. Adams quickly found himself being blamed. Critics accused Adams of performing too many procedures on the 5'2", 188-pound former English professor. A tummy tuck, breast augmentation, and liposuction, all on the same day.
Donda West survived the surgery very well. She was at home.
Did anything during that surgery go wrong?
No.
Were there any complications during the surgery?
No.
Was there anything prior to the operation that gave you pause about operating on this woman?
No. Our surgery center was right here.
His once thriving practice imploded because patients stopped coming.
People who were signed up for surgery wanted their money back. People who had planned surgery, canceled.
The coroner was unable to determine the exact cause of death, but did not fault Adams. So what went wrong? Dr. Adams wants the world to know that he believes Donda made a terrible mistake when she put Kanye's cousin, Stephen Scoggins, in charge of her aftercare.
Adams says he wanted Donda to recover from her surgery at a medical facility, but he claims she insisted that her nephew, a nurse with a PhD in public health, care for her at her home.
Her nurse wasn't there. Her nurse was gone to a baby shower rather than taking care of his aunt.
The coroner filed a complaint with the state nursing board saying Scoggins left Ms. West in the care of laypersons, and she was left alone and unmonitored when she went into cardiac arrest. Dr. Adams says Donda West was left lying flat on her back, causing her to choke to death.
This lady shouldn't be dead. All you had to do is sit her up. And every nurse on the planet knows that.
Scoggins has denied all Adams' allegations that he's to blame for her death, and the nursing board dismissed the complaint against him. Dr. Adams is also revealing the existence of a secret letter, which he says he's showing for the first time.
Dr. Donda West died as a result of cardiopulmonary failure.
The letter was written by Dr. Adams himself just days after Donda's death, after he says he spoke to people who were inside the house.
Her caregivers gave her, 20 Vicodin tabs in less than 20 hours.
That, Dr. Adams believes, contributed to Donda choking. Now with the letter revealed, Adams says it's time to finally speak out.
So you heard it right there. Basically, they killed her. They killed her. And this sounds almost Michael Jackson-esque, to where the nurse was in on it and was giving her that type of medication. Either that or Scoggins, the cousin, was told to do that.
My point to Kanye is tell what he knows, point the finger at who the coroner pointed at, and the truth, when you bury it, just grows bigger.
So that should tell you right there who actually killed Kanye West's mom. It was Kanye West's family himself, Kanye West's family itself. So now you have to think about it, where if it wasn't the actual surgeon in the complications of the surgery, because that's what they said with the coroner, it was complications of the surgery. It wasn't complications of the surgery, it was the aftercare of the surgery. So if it was the aftercare of the surgery, and then you're giving a cease and desist to the doctor or surgeon that can't speak out his own truth, okay, now things are starting to get a little bit more fishy as far as Kanye West's mom dying. You were giving 800 milligrams of Vicodin in less than 20 hours. That's a lot. You're in 800 Vicodin, okay? 800 doses of it. It's a lot. Okay? So, of course, yes. It sounds like someone just stuffed a bunch of pills down her mouth and just tried to choke the shit out of her. That's what it sounds like there. They tried to make her so she was very incoherent in even being able to survive. So, with that information, you fast forward 2 years. You fast forward about 2 years, and then the famous incident happens.
Music, so thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
That would mark the very pivotal moment in Kanye West's career, where he would then to realize that he was not going to be very liked within the industry. And with him knowing that, he spoke out and decided to say this as well. Out of his own mouth, he decided to do a freestyle in what seemed like he knew exactly what happened to his mother.
Yo, gang, you know, you probably the most hated when you say this. You know, we think it's new shit.
Following the Taylor Swift incident.
I don't know if y'all ready to what? Make some fucking up. We're gonna give y'all some new shit. Put music in the building, you know we got Big Sean. You know what I'm saying? Some movement, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Previously. Hold on. We want to talk about, you know, that guy? This is my first time back in America for the past, like, 3-4 months. I had to get up out this motherfucker for a second. You know, so much. And I'm so passionate about it that I just can't take this shit sometimes. And if they take everything away from me, it wouldn't fucking matter. Artists be too concerned about their well-being sometimes. Artists be too scared to stand up for something. They scared to lose their fucking house. Or they scared to lose their record deal. I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
That line right there, I remember hearing that line for the very first time when it came out back in 2010 and said, holy shit, he's whistleblowing. That's whistleblowing right there. He let it be known that he sold his soul for the fame. I sold my soul to the devil. I know it was a crappy deal. At least it came with a few toys and a Happy Meal. He confirmed that he had sold his soul for fame, knowing that his mom had passed as a sacrifice. Kanye had accepted the fact that he had now stepped into a different realm of the industry, but was also starting to recognize that he needed to pull back and find himself. But finding yourself is not as easy as it would seem to be in Hollywood, as at this moment, Kanye was still at the height of his career. So it was not easy for him to just back away from all the Hollywood glitz and glamour. In a sense, he was stuck in the middle of it, trying to figure out how to get out.
I'm spaced out, dog. I be on that moon talk. I wonder if God asked Mike how to moonwalk. You know the entertainer angels. Adriana for Giselle, let's exchange angels. Photo shoot in my crib, let's exchange angles. Rocking nothing but them Tom Benz bangles. I'm so anxious, I'm getting anxiety. Begging one of these fucking fashion houses to hire me. They said I've been an asshole. I said if you acquire me, I could be acquired me. Call it verbal diet, can't give me your herbal chai tea. I be calling spicy with a bad white bitch like iced tea. Yo, Amber, you supposed to come out. You gotta go now, Amber. Come on. And you gotta give it up for my baby girl right here for being in the new vibe and everything.
This would be the introduction of Amber Rose.
I'm not right, dog. I'm slightly off. I'm paranoid like Bone and Raw, dog. I'm waking up with a slight cough. Yeah, that'll make it dick quite soft. Plus my neck hurt too. Let me take all this ice off, please.
Not necessarily the introduction, but around the time that people started to get familiar with the celebrity of Amber Rose. So, with that, we would then step into My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, in which Kanye West is one of Kanye West's biggest albums, I want to say. Definitely one of his best works of art. So, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That album is where he realized where he was in the industry as a whole, and he didn't like it. He was with Amber Rose at the time, and during this time, he had started to remove himself from the industry and as well from her. as you can hear throughout the entire album. This was around the time that they'd actually broken up. We got the famous Yeezy taught me, Yeezy taught me, Yeezy taught me at the end of this album as well. We also got the Runaway record from this album, in which the Runaway record, let's have a toast for the assholes, let's have a toast for the scumbags, and every one of them that I know. Those lyrics stuck out to me more than ever around that time, especially when you would watch the actual documentary. We can't get into that because of the actual copywriting of that. I wanted to actually put that on display of him, the symbolism inside of the Runaway documentary, but for copyright reasons, we can't actually show it. So, I'm just going to further explain the Runaway video where he stands on top of, even when he has the Phoenix at the table. Notice in the video of the Runaway, or should I say in the documentary, it was about the rising of a phoenix. Very symbolic to Freemasonry. So that taught me that Kanye West had also stepped into Freemasonry and started to gain the knowledge of Freemasonry. How I started to notice that was also a video he did called Power, in which he raps, "No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours."
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen do it. Screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power.
Now, let's take a look at one very important part in the video. As you can see here, this is the full mural that would come to the beginning, towards the end of the video. Now, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of Masonic symbolism that we cannot necessarily break down in its entirety because we'd be here for about an hour or so. We'd be here for about another 3 hours, I would say, if we broke down every bit of symbolism within this one scenario right here. But this actually marked the apprenticeship of Kanye West in Freemasonry. He was starting to become a higher level in degrees of Masonry also. So when you're a celebrity as a Freemason, I've noticed that you get to actually skip these degrees. Well, you don't skip the degrees, but you actually get to get advancement of your knowledge based upon your influence. Kanye West was a man of very high influence. So it sounds like he was able to skip a lot of levels in the degrees and gain a lot of knowledge fast. Because when he says no one man should have all this power, he wasn't necessarily referring to the money of things. He was referring to the knowledge that he had gained through Freemasonry. And as you see here, he had gained quite a lot of it. Remember, this is the beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy album. So this is also where he is coming to realize where exactly he is in the industry. But it's also starting to drive him crazy. As you hear inside of the record, Schizo Man. He's basically starting to become more than one person inside of his own mind. Now, of course, we're going to fast forward a few years, well, not a few years, but just a couple of years later, where he did Watch the Throne with Jay-Z. And this is going to further confirm to you guys how much of a Freemason Kanye West actually is. I want you guys to further pay attention even more to the music that plays in the very beginning of the documentary.
I talked with Kanye recently about Watch the Throne. Yeah. How many songs y'all completed so far?
It's like 7 in like 3 days. We're gonna go to Australia and hopefully finish it up.
Now, if all that didn't tell you where Kanye West was at in the industry, I don't know what else does. But now let's go into fast forward to towards the end of the video, where I want you guys to notice something in the floors. You see the checkered floor?
Cheers. Watch the phone.
Notice here the checkered pattern floor. The entire house was designed in Masonic order, if you notice. In Masonic decor, I should say. That entire house had Masonic decor in it. The surroundings of it. The surroundings of the environment of where the actual Watch the Throne documentary was shot. You heard the music in the very beginning. This is the checkerboard Masonic floor. Now, once again, we can go for hours on breaking down the symbolism of the Freemason Masonic floor and what it is and everything to do with Freemasonry, but then we'll be getting off topic. But this is also to show you, once again in confirmation, that Kanye West was definitely a Freemason and was within the secret society of the industry, the Illuminati, if you will. But once again, with those great prizes, sometimes come rewards that you're not necessarily expecting to keep. Because shortly after that, I want to say around the 2013, 2014 time frame, he started to get with Kim Kardashian. Okay? With Kim Kardashian, excuse me. Remember, there was a whole Kardashian curse. Oh, wait, from Lamar Odom. Trying to think, there's a lot of people. Ray J didn't necessarily get a curse, but it was a few people that actually got the Kardashian curse, as you could say. There's Lamar Odom. Who else was it? People said Tristan Thompson got the Kardashian curse. It was somebody else that went crazy that I can't think of. Right before that. But besides the whole Kardashian curse thing, you had Kanye starting to step into the whole family man role. Right? It was him trying to basically get away once again from the whole rapper, quote unquote, lifestyle. He was always trying to break away from that. But he was mainly trying to break away from that because of, like I said, the constant cycle of him having to drop an album, just constantly be on tour. Like I said, him becoming high up in the secret society within the industry, it started to drive him a little bit more crazier than he expected. He thought he could handle it as well as battle it. As you heard in the I Sold My Soul to the Devil freestyle, he actually was starting to say, okay, well, I'm in this shit, but I don't want to be a part of this shit. So with knowing that I don't want to be a part of this shit, I'm just going to speak out and tell my truth as much as I can still. But then you get with a Kim Kardashian who is heavily involved in a lot of that stuff still and has a lot of business and investments in a lot of that stuff still. You then become quiet Kanye again and say, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to conform for a little bit. I'm just going to do my family man thing, marry my wife. This is my beautiful wife, I think. I really love her. You know, this is where, once again, the same thing that happened with the Amber Rose thing, Kim Kardashian was in a sense given to Kanye. A lot of people don't know that. Same thing with Amber Rose. Kim Kardashian was in a sense given to Kanye to shut him up. Because Kanye once again started to be Kanye and started to whistleblow and tell the truth once again. And Kim Kardashian was not the one to keep him quiet as they expected. So around 2013, 2014, that's when you see Kim Kardashian pop up, right? Around after the Jesus is King album. Okay? So remember, not Jesus is King, excuse me. Shortly after Yeezus is when Kim Kardashian pops up. After the Yeezus album. That whole album, I think, was sort of influenced even by him dating Kim Kardashian. Some of the lyrics in that album was based upon his relationship and dating her. And then you fast forward to maybe 3 years later, we get the Life of Pablo album, which was a complete disaster. The Life of Pablo album was a complete disaster because you had different things going on that would make it very chaotic for you to even be a producer for yourself. So you had the Tiana Taylor album, you had the Pusha T album, you had the Big Sean album, you had the Common album, you had everybody that was on good music and couldn't produce the good music because you were trying to do 7 songs for everybody just so you can also do the Life of Pablo album for yourself. That became a very chaotic time for Kanye West mentally. As you can tell, it started to wear on him a very big much. In fact, right around the time, well, he ended up releasing the Life of Pablo album, but like I said, with that happening, we got the famous rant from Kanye West as well.
Only the originals. Only the originals. And that's real program directors with wives and kids that love music, that can't play what they want to play because they've been paid to play that bullshit over and over and over. And when I say that bullshit, what I'm saying is, we love Drake. Drake is great. He's a great artist. But Frank Ocean is great too. But you know who the greatest of all of us? Who do y'all think? Nope. Kid motherfucking Cudi. Radio, fuck you. Oh yeah, I'm on my Trump shit tonight. Radio, fuck you. Yeah, I'm taking his lead. I'ma just say how I say. I'ma just B.a.c and win. I'ma take his lead. Radio, fuck you. Radio, fuck you. Wait a second, you saying, wait a second. Hey, is the radio fuck you? That's what you're saying? Exactly. Now, not fuck the people that work in radio. Because these is Pablo is alive tonight, bro. A$AP Nas is alive tonight, bro. Polly is alive tonight, bro. Ian Carter is alive tonight, bro. Rocky alive tonight, bro. Hey, y'all at my show, when I say these names, y'all better scream for me. I don't give a fuck if you know the names in that. Go ahead, Google them. They will give you a little bit of factual information. They will give you that. Why did I name A$AP? Because that's the future. That's the niggas that got me and Cuddy. This shit alive, bro. It's life. We got 100 years out here. 100 years on this planet, bro. And we can have a utopia. We can love each other. But the rules gotta be fair. Khaled and Drake and radio and Doc and 92.3 and everybody. Is it just me? Or did you hear that song so many times? You seen one pay for free. Hey, give me the hey, you know what it is though? Cause hey, I love Drake, I love Khaled, but they set that song up, bro. And let me tell you something. MTV, fuck you. Once again, as always, I'm on my Trump shit tonight. Let me tell you what it is, bro. Hey, you know me. I went down 7 years of my life of motherfuckers hating me for saying Beyonce had the best video.
So you heard it right there first. Kanye West recognized that he had been blackballed from the entire industry, all for him saying the Taylor Swift incident, where he snatched the microphone and said Beyonce had the best video of all time. From that moment on, they started to shut Kanye West up and blackball him. Because after that, we didn't get too much of a beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy rollout. We didn't have so much superstar Kanye West after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy in 2010. Remember, the VMA incident was 2009. The Power record and all that was 2010, the following year. After that album, Kanye started to dismiss himself from the industry. But he got with Kim Kardashian, which kept him within the industry. So, you get the scatterbrain of, do I want to be here or do I not want to be here? Eventually, you start saying, fuck it. Fuck everybody that is here. If I have to stay here, you're going to let me out. I'm going to rattle this cage until you let me out of this cage that you have me in. And that is what was going on in Sacramento during the Life of Pablo tour in 2016.
Hey, baby, it's rock and roll tonight. Y'all might be experiencing a lot of pop shit, but the vibes is back. The prodigal son, Kid Cudi, has returned. The vibes is back. I know it's gonna be a lot of conversations after the night. Khaled, I love you. I know you got killers in Miami. Please do not send them at my head. I just want to have a conversation about how we playing radio's game. Khaled, you a real nigga. Khaled, you a real nigga. You got the keys. But as we learn all the politics that niggas was doing for years, Obama couldn't make America great because he couldn't be him to be who he was. Black men have been slaves. Obama wasn't allowed to do this. And still win. He had to be perfect. But being perfect don't always change shit, bro. Being perfect don't always change shit, bro. So when I talk about MTV, let me explain something. I was hurt. Beyonce, I was hurt because I wanted to present a video called Fade. And out of respect, MTV told me, Mr. West, out of respect to you, I will let you know that Beyonce is winning the video tonight for Formation over Hotline Bling and Famous.
So he was told beforehand who was actually going to win the award. Interesting. Kanye was actually given the information, and it makes you wonder if the information that he was given is what made him even go on stage in the first place now.
They told me beforehand so I wouldn't run on stage. Hey, bro, y'all ain't gotta fuck with me, but you know I got the vision, and you know I'ma keep it real with you. Beyonce, I was hurt. I went down 7 years on behalf of your, hey nigga, don't throw no shit while I'm talking. I am putting my career, my life, my public well-standing at risk when I talk to y'all like this. This is a moment in the Matrix, bro. The vibes is back. The vibes is back.
So that's interesting. Kanye was told who would win the award in 2016 just so he wouldn't run on stage. That's quite interesting right there. In a sense, Kanye had started to gain knowledge behind the scenes now of who was actually going to be winning what award and when. When you start to gain that much knowledge, you start to say, how much of this stuff is being paid for versus how much of this stuff is actual talent? You heard he actually had a serious problem with the fact that radio was denying the fact that they take payola, but Kanye West knows that the radio takes payola and that music is invested in. Everyone knows that music is heavily invested in, but for the first time, someone had actually, as a actual rapper, someone had actually came out and said, this record was paid for and this record was ran to the ground.
Motherfuckers might feel a way about this tonight. Beyonce, I was hurt. Because I heard that you said you wouldn't perform unless you won Video of the Year over me and over Hot Line Bling. In my opinion, now don't go trying to diss Beyonce. She is great. Taylor Swift is great. We are all great people. We are all equal. But sometimes we be playing the politics too much and forgetting who we are. Just to win. Fuck winning. Fuck looking cool. Fuck looking cool. Fuck being cool. Fuck all that, bruh. I've been sitting here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sitting here to give y'all the truth. Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them out my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man. I'm not trying to be the man. I just am a man. The same as everybody here. I ain't above, below, none of y'all. We all equal. We all equal. These is the vibes, bro. This is the future. This is the way of thinking to make America great again. I don't like that. Guess what? Guess what? Y'all need the vibes.
Kanye was heavily involved with Donald Trump around this time. And you can hear it within the rant. He kept saying he's on his Trump shit. So, as everyone would come to know, Kanye West and Donald Trump became very, very good friends around this time of the presidential election. Kanye believed that Donald Trump would change a lot of things, including things for himself. But as we all would come to know, Donald Trump was not necessarily just going to be helping Kanye get everything Kanye wanted. Remember, Donald Trump was still heavily involved in the politics and still had good connections, whereas Kanye's connections were starting to dwindle. So this was Kanye's way of saying maybe I can get a political partner with Donald Trump because they are starting to blackball me. On top of, I would like Donald Trump to help me with this Larry Hoover situation. He also wanted Trump to help him more so with his own career in getting somehow back on the right side with the connections that had started to blackball him then.
Hurt. Feelings matter, bro. The way motherfuckers put money up so high. Popularity. Radio spins. Feelings matter, bro. Feelings matter, bro. It's a new world, Hillary Clinton. It's a new world. Feelings matter. Because guess what? Everybody in middle America felt a way, and they showed you how they felt. Feelings matter, bro. It's a new world. It's a new world, Barack. It's a new world, Jay-Z. Hey, don't send killers at my head, bro. This ain't the Malcolm X movie. We growing from that moment. Let yay be yay. Oh, wait a second. Do y'all agree with that? Let yay be yay. Wait a second. I ain't hearing no screams on that. Let yay be yay. People, I'm not saying this out of my own well-being, because it wouldn't be smart out of my own well-being to say things like this. Radio, I done talked to you a bunch of motherfucking times. Y'all motherfuckers is behind the times. Because guess what? This St. Pablo tour is the most relevant shit happening. This St. Pablo tour more relevant than radio. And if y'all still keep following old models, your ass is gonna get Hillary Clinton. You might not like it, but they gotta hear it. I ain't here to massage you with a fake truth, telling you that Hillary gonna win over and over and over. Then you wake up, you still can't believe it. You know why? Because you was lied to by Google. You was lied to by Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, you wanna call me now? Do I got the vision, Mark Zuckerberg? Was you wrong? When I said I was $53 million in debt and you didn't call me, was you wrong? You ate dinner. You asked my friend Anthony Schiller to have dinner with me. I told you about Donda. You said you would help, and you didn't. Then you went to look for aliens. Me and Kid Cudi are aliens right here, bro. The vibes is back. Hey, John. Take me all the way back to the thing. Shia LaBeouf, Kid Cudi feels a way. Give him a call. Q-Tip, I love you, bro. Don't tell me how to be me, though. I love you. The Tribe album is dope. I love you. Don't tell me how to be me, though. I've been me.
Right here is where they would start to bring him back. But I want you to notice real quick also at what's happening as he's being taken back.
sir. There's a Richard Pryor interview that you can walk about people coming into power and not changing anything and just becoming part of the power. Like you, Kanye! That's happened with musicians because they scared. I'm not scared. I'm here to change things. I am here to change things. But things won't change until people admit they own falsehoods. I got the vision, bro. That is what I've been blessed with. My vision. I'm not always gonna say things the perfect way, the right way, but I'm gonna say how I feel. He's supposed to take a water break so much.
Watch here what happens to him in the background.
Now, I will prepare. Right now, press, get ready to write your passive-aggressive LeBron James racist comments, season 4 racist comments. Get ready to have a field day, press. Get ready, because the show's over.
Now, the main thing that stuck out to me back then when this actually happened was the LeBron James comments hadn't necessarily happened yet. But lo and behold, that very same week that Kanye had said this, there was an article posted by the New York Times in which it said LeBron James was not too happy about Phil Jackson's posse comments. It says LeBron James fires back at Phil Jackson. I'll show you guys here real quick. Page is taking a while to load, but yeah. This was in 2016, the very week that Kanye made that statement. Kanye basically predicted that the media was going to go at LeBron James for his racial comments. It says here, Phil Jackson's description of LeBron James's business partners as his posse in an interview published by ESPN on Monday drew an angry response from James, who took offense at the racial connotation of the word. Kanye had actually started to whistleblow and was not caring anymore about where the information necessarily was going to lead him. As long as he knew that he was going to be telling the truth, he didn't necessarily care about when he said it. For him to actually predict the media, well, not necessarily predict the media, but tell everyone, hey, the media is going to be talking about LeBron James saying he doesn't like the racial comments and this, that, and the third. They're going to try to paint LeBron James as a racist. For him to say that ahead of them actually doing it, like I said, let me know that Kanye was starting to say, fuck it, I'm just going to tell my truth. Whoever hears it, hears it. Whoever does it, doesn't. I don't care anymore. I just want out of this mental prison that they have put me in. And the mental prison that they have put him in, we are now going to go to Miss Sloan Bella, who breaks down what has happened to Kanye West mentally.
Hi everyone, I'm Sloan from SloanBella.com, and I'm back with another energetic channeled video. Now this is an energy reading on a particular celebrity that is out there front and center big time. Very famous, very on the world stage, explains that element of his personality. that Kanye is a June 8th, 1977 Gemini. He is a fire snake and a birth path 11. Now, 11 is a number of potential that is not usually reached. 11, 22, and 33 are master numbers, but also numbers of potential. Fire snake is enough said. Fire snake, I think we all get the gist of that. And when I'm looking at the energy of a Gemini person, of course, Gemini is the twins, but they have 3,600 different personalities. But Kanye had something very interesting when I looked at his chart. First of all, he's extremely stubborn and extremely strong. So when I was looking at the energy, I'm like, what is that in the chart? We have Mercury, Venus, and Mars in Taurus. That explains that element of his personality, that I'm going to walk up on stage and I'm going to throw your ass off and I'm going to speak about me, narcissistic Kanye. However, is that really who he is? I looked at the moon sign in his chart, Pisces moon. Now that was very surprising, other than the fact that he's a musician. Musicians often have an element of Pisces because it's ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the musical planet, the creative planet, the planet that picks up the energy from the ethers. I looked at his Cancer rising. Cancer, the most orphaned, abandoned, and adopted sign in the zodiac. So I looked at those two energies together in tandem with his Gemini sun conjuncting Jupiter, which can burn the candle of speaking out too much at both ends and get your ass thrown into jail or right off the planet. And when I look at the combination of this, what my mind focuses on is it focuses on Pluto, Uranus, and the North Node sitting together retrograde down at the bottom of his chart in the 4th house. And then when I look at the Neptune in Sagittarius, and then I jump over to Saturn in the 2nd in Leo, I learn that this man has karma with his creative vision. And there's a karmic responsibility to not repeat what he has done before. That is where I stopped and I went into full-blown panic because I began to see and I began to get the energy and hear what this man is actually expressing as he is out in public. What we don't see, because it's the energy behind the person that is presented to us. Now, Kanye is very interesting because I immediately go to the connection with his family and his mother in particular, which I think he stated that he really loves his mother and was devastated by her death, and rightly so. However, it is told to us that when somebody like Kanye or any other entertainer reaches that level of success, that they themselves may have given part of themselves away that they don't own and can't really sell, so they can't really sell out. However, the wording is always that they are a sellout. But we hear that when people sell their music commercially instead of holding out for money later on when they give it up to the establishment. That is another word for sellout.
What she's actually referring to is the freestyle that we brought up earlier, where Kanye West said he sold his soul to the devil. He couldn't necessarily sell his soul to the devil because the sacrifice wasn't necessarily something that he authorized to sell his soul to the devil. The sacrifice happened necessarily because Kanye had started to spiral out of control and say things that was not necessarily okay with the top elites. And he had done it quite so many times before. In 2005, he said George Bush didn't care about black people. 2007, his mom passes. 2009, the VMA incident.
Now let's back this up because I got this so clear. Kanye, when he was born, was seen. So he was seen on the astral level of who he was and what his potential was on earth. So what he was here to do in this life. What was this soul being born into this baby here to do energetically, to shift the vibration? Now, let's assume we can see if we're on the astral level and we're not in human body, we are an entity of some kind, and we can see that this energy is going to be born in light of love, okay, from the creative center. And we don't want that energy to express itself in its entirety or reach its potential, because if it reaches its potential, her potential, the rest of the energy or light workers or intentioned beings, God-centered, will start to reach their potential. And if there's a combination of potential reachers, it harnesses the energy on Earth and it raises the vibration in a different direction than what is intended. Now, this is part of the problem. What is the intention here? So let's say we have a child, and let's call him Kanye, and he comes into a family, and he's somewhat of a light worker or a light being, energetically here to raise the vibration. Tremendous potential through the combinations of energies he's born with. Let's say he comes into a family that has a belief system that's different. Now, he doesn't know this because he's a baby. He's a baby. I don't know why our memories are erased, but for the most part, we don't remember why we're here, why we're a baby, why we came here. Who knows? Anyway, he comes into this family and they have another agenda. So they're working behind the scenes with an agenda for this baby's energy. So what I'm saying to you is sometimes we can mistakenly assume the person that we see out front and center publicly is the person who, quote, gave away what they don't own, as in sold out. You can't sell something you don't own to begin with. Your soul belongs to God. So to sell it, that's not really how it works. To energetically agree to allow your energy to be used, manipulated, projected in a way that somebody else desires other than the self, connected to the God source, is another way to word that. Now, what if the family in which you're born has already agreed to your manipulation or your participation in this particular way of thinking? And when you participate in it, you are assuming that this is just the way it works. This is just the way your family that you're born into works. So this is something that is a belief system. You could say if you're born into a Catholic family, a Jewish family, a Buddhist family, this is a way of believing. Why would you believe it was wrong or different? Now, what if you were trapped in a physical body that you came into, and the moment that you're born, you are gang stalked? That sounds really weird. So the energy is focused on you and focused on blocking you or thwarting your potential, a form of gang stalking. So they recognize you before you come onto this planet. They know who you are. Once they know who you are, they place things in front of you in order to distract you. Now, Kanye doesn't get distracted much. He definitely jumps on the bandwagon of whatever he's thinking, and that's for sure. But here's the interesting thing. I literally went into a meditation and asked to show me his energy. What I saw was actually really shocking. I saw Kanye in a cement room, like a jail cell, cement. Nothing on the floor, no bed, no blanket, cold, like solitary confinement. He was wearing jeans and a hoodie. He looks like himself the way we recognize him, between 30 and 40. That's about how old he looked. With his knees up under his chin and his hands around his knees, with his chin placed in his knees looking downwards. I got a glimpse in through that window and I was like, where am I seeing this? Where is he that he's in this cement room with just 4 cement walls and nothing around him, basically imprisoned? Then I looked over to the side and I went down a bunch of different hallways that were like honeycombs, like honeycomb cereal, like honeycombs connected one to the other, to the other, to the other. And as I walked through each of the honeycombs, which in and of itself was an entirely different room with an entirely different vision and feel to it, I began to feel very, very disconnected, almost short-circuited. And I realized his brain, his mind has been honeycombed. In other words, they have segregated and separated, compartmentalized this man's brain or brain energy so that one form of thought does not recognize the next form of thought in a cohesive pattern. Usually when we think, even if we have 17 different personalities like some Geminis, not 3,600, but 17, and I'm playing with all you Geminis. But let's say you've got a bunch of different thoughts in your head. Usually you can draw a congruent line from thought A to B to C, and you can understand how you went from here to here and everything in between. So when you're looking at the energy like that, that's a very, quote, normal way of thinking. Now, what if when you came into your physical vessel in this life, your body, you were distracted in your thinking so that it was constantly cut off as you began to move forward. So you began to progress forward and the thought was cut off. You began to progress over here and the thought was cut off. You began to think of that and the thought was cut off, and another thought placed in your mind and another thought placed in your mind. So you could never get back to that original thought, and then it was cut off so you didn't even know the thought, walled off so you didn't even know the thought existed. This is what has happened to Kanye. When they talk about, Beyonce and the queen bee and the beehive, no. They're talking about the honeycombing of the mind. This is literally what I got. They twist it around and they twist these words. His brain literally is like a honeycomb with many layer after layer after layer after layer. And the initial energy of the soul vibration that came into the physical body with its projection in this life, with its purpose, soul path purpose, has been relegated to a cement room in the honeycomb where it is imprisoned. So its strength and its focus is blocked. This is what I see with Kanye, a blocking of energy due to what has gone on. Now, I asked them how they honeycomb a mind. That's the wording I'm using. That's a wording I heard. That's what came through to me.
Listen to this one here.
How do you do this? This has been done to him. We've heard a lot about the different ways of, Manchurian Candidate or MK. I'll just code word it there. You understand what I'm saying. This is different. This is literally purposely fragmented. Like the ends of the thought are burnt and sizzled and therefore do not connect to the synopsis to the next thought.
She was trying to block from her. She was trying to not say that Kanye had been MK Ultra'd. The MK Ultra effect and Kanye being hospitalized is what caused him now to have the honeycomb mind. All the pills that he had been taking, all the medication that he had been forced to take. Remember, she used the analogy of him coming into a family that he thought that he could find protection in. That family that she's talking about, that has honeycombed his mind in a sense, would be none other than the Kardashians. If you don't remember, Kanye West once again was hospitalized back in 2016, was he not? So let's read here. It says Kanye West was hospitalized in Los Angeles and placed on psychiatric hold. Kanye West was hospitalized for stress and exhaustion Monday at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center in LA following several chaotic days on tour according to news reports. Now, interesting enough in there, someone that back in 2005 said George Bush doesn't care about black people, a president, is then inducted into Ronald Reagan's UCLA Medical Center years later to be put on psychiatric hold. Talking about someone being very petty later on with the political party. And the remainder of the rapper's North American tour dates have been canceled following a Sacramento show brought to a halt when Kanye West, as we just saw, delivered the stream of consciousness speech before storming off stage, which he didn't necessarily storm off stage. He was yanked off stage and pulled off stage. It sounded like he had asked to be taken back to the edge where the ramp could just let him down. But as you can plainly hear, he was not the one that actually wanted to stop the show. A representative for West who spoke to the New York Times on the condition of anonymity, anonymity, excuse me, said West's doctor called 911 on Monday afternoon. His doctor called 911 Monday afternoon, and West agreed to go to the hospital for evaluation. The 39-year-old Grammy-winning musician spent the night at the hospital for his own health and safety. I call bullshit there. According to the Associated Press, his mother-in-law, Kris Jenner, see what I mean? See how they said that? His mother-in-law, Kris Jenner, told Vanity Fair on Monday that West was exhausted but good. That told me right there the Kardashians had that man hospitalized. As you just heard from Sloan Bella, they got that man hospitalized.
So he can't get back to that thought. So what we see when we see Kanye out there in public and we see him telling the truth, we see fragmented moments of truth and then the belief system that he cannot get back to that truth because he's so distracted. He's a very strong energy, very stubborn, very strong to even have a cohesive thought from its origin and all the way along. It sounds weird, but this is what I'm seeing. So they fragmented his mind and they put him out there publicly. But why? Why do this? Like, why?
So around 2019, Kanye had started to date Bianca around the Jesus is King album. He started to find himself and started to find God. You see him going off to Wyoming and Utah and all these other places. Basically, also, not necessarily trying to just find God in himself. He was mainly just trying to find peace away from Hollywood and the industry that had now blackballed him and removed him from it. So he started to go on a series of rants, I want to say about 2020, 2021. Actually, no, 2021, 2022. He started to go on a series of rants following the release of his Donda album in dedication of his mother. Now, the Donda album also was him saying, the Donda album was mainly him wanting to repent. It was him admitting that he had sacrificed, well, not he had sacrificed, but that the family had sacrificed his mother. He had accepted the fact that they were going to do it ahead of time. Kanye West had received that information and call prior to her actually passing. It was very hard to find that documentation. They had actually taken that down, but I remember researching that beforehand. They actually had given Kanye the information prior to his mother passing. That's how they do it with all the celebrities. They tell you ahead of time, hey, we're going to do this, such and such, then this is how it's going to go. We'll give you the word and let you know in confirmation of when it happens. So he got the confirmation that his mom had passed prior to it actually happening. But the album Donda was mainly like I said, it was mainly him just wanting to repent from his sins. Following that, we got the Donda 2 cover, which we will get into in just a second, because we also saw the burning house. Just want to show you guys real quick. So a burning house also symbolizes a loss of security and stability and comfort. The raging flames The raging flames and billowing smoke create a sense of chaos and danger. So let me just bring it up real quick. Where are you? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so as you can see here, there is the burning house on the cover. Now, I went through the discography of Kanye before this also and noticed this cover and said to myself, well, when I see a burning house and reading from the excerpt I just read, the definition I just read, the symbolism of it, you have to also now notice that Kanye is starting to get into a down spiral of things. Like I said, the burning house also symbolizes the falling of things. So if you actually get, they say in a dream, you have the house where it's completely burnt out and it's just ashes. It's you trying to reestablish connection. But being that Kanye hasn't necessarily had that, he just had the burning house insight in his head. He's basically had the burning house scene in his head now. He's basically just trying to tell everybody, hey, I know that I'm going down, but with the house burning down right now, I'm going to be very loud about it. I'm going to scream while I'm in this house of fire. I'm going to scream while I'm in this house of fire. And around this time, he had also did the series of interviews with Drink Champs, in which he had brought on Larry Hoover. He was doing the whole Larry Hoover thing with Jay Prince. They even did that's why I had to skip over the whole Drake and Kanye beef, because it would have been irrelevant to what we're actually talking about. But he did the actual concert with Drake, or whatever. But the Drink Champs interview is where he did the whistleblowing of the Jewish community and how much they actually play a part in politics. He didn't get to emphasize it there on Drink Champs as much as he just had that, and then the tweet of him going DEFCON on Jews. So on Piers Morgan, he was able to be, and this would be what I think Kanye West's most coherent interview to date, to where he actually is showing that, he's showing his more intellectual side, but this interview actually showed that he knew way more than what people expected him to actually say. So let's go through some of the Piers Morgan interview where he does way more whistleblowing than people actually expected him to do.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed for joining Piers Morgan Uncensored. My first question for you, I guess, is an obvious one. What do you hope to achieve from our conversation?
That right there, being uncensored. In American media, it's very censored. It feels like an episode of Black Mirror a lot of times. So I've put myself across the line, the point of no return, saying, hey, I know they're going to say whatever they want about me. When I bring up the truth, they're going to say, you didn't get enough sleep. It's because of your health. They're going to call me names for my truth. But these experiences that I'm telling you about are factually things that I've went through and things that I refuse to keep going through and things that I'm not going to let my children go through and things that I'm not going to let my peers go through. No pun intended.
Well, look, we are most certainly uncensored on this show, and I want to give you the time and the platform to really explain yourself, because I think that sometimes sound bites about people, perhaps taken out of context sometimes, can create a very distorted view of what a person really thinks. What do you think, looking back over the last few weeks in particular, what do you think have been the biggest misconceptions about you?
Speaking of which, let's fast forward to the first part that he whistleblows, which would be the George Floyd situation.
Marilyn Manson on stage with me when he was dealing with allegations. My stepbrother Marilyn was canceling himself So many people comment on my White Lives Matter t-shirt. There's people who are saying right there in Fashion Week, when are you going home? I'm so afraid. People thought I was gonna cancel myself. I'm not gonna cancel myself. I'm gonna keep on delivering what I feel, because guess what? It's very split opinions, by the way.
Before he gets to the George Floyd situation, let's listen real quick a few minutes on how he even talks about or starts to mention things within the Jewish businesses. He starts to mention in Whistleblows how much the Jewish people are owning the entertainment industry as far as the business goes. Then he'll lead into George Floyd and tie it in.
If I talk to a black person that makes under $1 million a year, they really relate to the George Floyd comments and feel hurt that I would even bring it up and question the approach. They have multiple documentaries on the death of JFK, but we're just supposed to believe this one media outlet version that preyed on our trauma and our pain. And then if I talk to rich black people or white people, Jew or Catholic or atheist, they're really into the Jewish media comment because it affects their business interests.
Okay, well, look,
and it was really interesting.
Let me just pick you up on the two things you've mentioned. The first one is what you said about George Floyd. And the reality of that, it's not a media interpretation of how he died, because the Hennepin County Chief Medical Examiner concluded that Floyd died from cardiopulmonary arrest. His heart stopped, complicated by the way the police restrained him and compressed his neck. Now, he also said there were other contributing conditions.
Wait.
Well, hang on, let me finish. There were other contributing conditions, narrowed arteries, high blood pressure, and fentanyl intoxication. But although these were significant conditions, he said, and things that played a role in the death, they didn't directly cause the death. The cause of death was what that policeman did with his knee to George Floyd.
Person?
Well, why would a coroner lie?
What makes you believe that?
Why would a coroner lie?
Because he could get paid to lie. Because he could get paid to lie. Because he's
I
watched it.
I watched it for 8 minutes.
The majority of the press.
Right, but I watched it for 8 minutes.
Now tell me this: have you seen the Candace Owens BLM documentary?
I have watched some of that documentary, but here's what I would say to you. When you watch that video of George Floyd...
No, it's not a but. It's not.
Well, I haven't watched the whole thing.
I need you to watch.
I know.
Okay,
I know what you said about... I know Candace.
I'm going to finish. La, la,
It's all right.
La.
You don't have to do that. It's fine. I know what it means.
La, la, la means be quiet and let me finish.
Let's move it up a little bit, about 5
minutes.
minutes. Let's move it about 5 minutes to about the 20-minute mark, to where he mentions the George Floyd situation again. But I want you to also listen to where, like I said, he starts to mention the Jewish community one more time and does a little bit more whistleblowing there.
Said that George kept saying, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. Still believe Google, and people pay to get certain information to the top of Google. But this is good. Keep going. Where else you want to go with it?
Here's where I want to go. The civil rights lawyer Lee Merritt responded to what you said about George Floyd's death and said, while one cannot defame the dead, the family of George Floyd is considering suit, which they're now doing. As you know, they're suing you for $250 million. For Ye's false statements about the manner of his death, claiming Floyd died from fentanyl, not the brutality established criminally and civilly, undermines and diminishes the Floyd family's fight. So what is your response to that?
Well, anybody who loses a loved one, my heart goes out to them. Any race, my heart goes out to the pain of that. I have a theory about it. Now, this is not a fact. This is a feeling that I have. In the documentary, George Floyd's 2 roommates said that George kept saying, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. So for me, I'm a creative, right? I can make a dinosaur out of a femur, right? So if I'm making a dinosaur out of a femur and I'm looking at a documentary that says George Floyd was telling his 2 roommates, they want a tall guy like me. And on the day of his death, he prayed for 8 minutes. They said he prayed longer than he ever prayed. What do you think, me as a creative mind, the beautiful mind, right, the sensitive mind, what do you think I feel could have happened in that situation?
All right, well, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I would say that because of your brilliant, beautiful, creative mind, as you put it, and I don't dispute that at all, you've got an extraordinary mind. And I can see that in the way that you conduct interviews. You go off on very long tangents, but they're sort of fascinating. I find it fascinating to listen to you. I'm not saying you don't have a right to question.
Sort of, quite. Yeah. These are like Capote-level fascinating tangents.
No, they're not. They're not. I'm just saying it's the way you conduct yourself, and I think that's very interesting.
What do you mean? Or not? Why is it? Oh, it's not Capote level.
Actually, I think
what he says.
Sort of.
If you would like me to compare you to Truman Capote,
we never experienced
I'm not cringing.
A black entertainer that won't be threatened by the media to back down from his opinion.
Yeah, I think you mistake me. Like you mistake me for somebody who's going to be like the others. I have a show called Uncensored for a reason. I'm giving you a platform for a reason.
But you're pressing an agenda.
No, I'm not. You're perfectly entitled to your opinions.
Your agenda.
But do you accept
you're lying now?
Do you accept you may not always be right?
I just called you a liar. How does that make you
That's
feel?
fine if you think I'm a liar. That's fine.
No, you're a liar. You're pressing the agenda of the pain and trauma economy that is pressed on my people by the left.
Actually, the trauma, I think, that was implemented to George Floyd was from a vile, white, racist police officer who kneed him to his death. And I agree with the coroner's findings because I don't see any reason why the coroner would invent that. So that's my belief. If you want to challenge that and you don't believe it, that's entirely your right.
I have a question. Who do you think are the biggest vile, white, racist? The media.
You think the media is racist?
What? Please, next question. Please don't ask me any retarded questions.
Okay, let me go to the next furore, which has been around you in the last couple of weeks, which is your attacks.
Is that British for theory? Is that British for theory?
Now, before we let him continue
bro?
there, I want to once again...
You actually have quite a good British accent.
I want to once again let him detail what he says about the George Floyd situation.
It's truly vague to me. I'm an honest person. I tell you what it was. What I keep on saying, it's just always about this tweet. It's so much more. If you look back at this interview, and it's like a direction arrow. It's more in the direction of fixing the statement than fixing the problem.
I think both things,
that's my problem.
I understand, but I would say to that I think they're two different things, and you can fix both, actually.
I didn't finish.
Okay.
Let's not do this again.
Okay.
We reviewed how that goes.
I understand. You could talk.
At least 14 kids are killed in Chicago every week, and there's no media push around it. And that's my issue. When I was at Gap, there was no media push around the killings in Chicago.
But I would agree. I agree with you. I completely agree. My youngest son has recently been at the University of Chicago for a year, and there were 2 students shot in that time. I completely agree that there is never enough attention given to all the slaughter from gun violence in Chicago. Completely agree with you. What I can't agree with is any suggestion by you that anyone at Gap or Matthew McConaughey or anybody else had any prior knowledge of what happened at Uvalde. Of course they didn't.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying they did, but with the amount of attention that went, understand, I was jealous, once again. You feel me? I'm jealous that so much attention went in this direction, but doesn't go into the direction of Chicago when the same amount of people.
That's what you should say.
I'm not finished.
Yeah, but it comes down to the way you phrase these things.
Bro, hey, I just said it.
Yes.
Like I just said, you're not always going to say the things the right way, but at least I have the bravery to open the conversation. Your first sentence isn't your last sentence. My first rap that I told wasn't my last rap that I told. And now that's the whole point. It's said. Once it's said, accept that it was said. I am the iPhone 20, right? I'm growing. I'm a hybrid. I'm updating.
Okay.
I'm constantly updating, and that's what we're supposed to do. You can't drag me back because you enjoy that, right? When you bring it up, I'm saying, hey, this is what I'm saying. I felt, think about this. Have you ever heard the term premeditated murder?
Yes.
I feel like the George Floyd was a premeditated murder. That's my feeling based off of, and we never got to that in the beginning, but that's my feeling based off of the information I saw in the documentary.
I think it was a premeditated murder in the sense that
murder.
I agree, but not for the reason you think. I think it was premeditated in the sense that policeman didn't give a damn about George Floyd's life, stuck his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and killed him. So I know we don't agree about that. I don't want to go back over that. I want to ask you, yeah, about something different.
I think the policeman was involved with it too, but not in the way that you think about it.
Right.
I think he was involved in a different way.
I think we'll have to.
I think he was also part of the setup.
Okay. Look, we're not going to agree about that, but
he's been moved. He's been moved, and I need you to watch the documentary, and we could talk offline and then talk online again.
Okay.
Notice how Pierre, every time he makes a serious, truthful accusation that Pierre knows has a lot of truth to it, notice how Pierre always cuts him off. So with that being said, let's rewind a little bit to the 53-minute mark where Kanye starts to emphasize on the contracts that are in the entertainment industry, and Pierre tries to stop him once again.
Me about this interview within the next 10 years.
No, I'm not, because here's the thing.
Mark my words.
I don't doubt you've had...
It's very one-sided.
No, it's not.
It's very white-sided.
Oh, come
on,
It's very
one-sided. It's very like...
It's not white-sided. I'm not doubting you've had business issues. I'm saying the way to respond to that is not to go public to millions of people and say you're going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
Millions of people... Right. Millions of people have had DEFCON 3 on their contracts.
Right. You
didn't
say that.
You didn't say that. And said, millions of people. Well, I opened it up. Now I didn't, but now I'm saying it now.
Okay.
Sir.
So now what I think you should say, I think you should say to the Jewish people, I'm sorry for the offensive language I used in that tweet. I wouldn't do that again. This is what I really meant. I think people would respect you if you said that. I don't know why you can't just say that.
You know when I'll say it? When I sit down with the people who write out the contracts for the NBA and for the NFL and for professional music and for acting contracts. We need to go to the top lawyers, the top execs, the owners of the stadiums, the owners of the football teams, and the owners of the record labels. And we're going to put them all in one room. And we're going to read let's go top 10 in each one of these categories, right? Let's read Michael B. Jordan's contract.
Why would any of that? Okay, but why would any of that? Why would any of that?
Bro, I ain't finished. I ain't finished my sentence.
Nothing you're saying has anything to do with regret.
Hey, boy.
Don't call me boy.
Don't finish. I told you. Oh, don't treat me like a boy then. I'm going to finish my sentence of my idea.
Nothing you're saying has got anything to do with the tweet.
Cool. Bro, I was in the middle of a sentence, boy. Okay.
And that is why Kanye started to get very upset during the interview. If you notice, every time he started to bring up an actual point that took away from why Pierre was trying to even bring him on, Pierre, like he said before, Pierre had as an agenda. The agenda was for him to talk about just the Jewish community tweet. The entire time, Pierre only kept allowing him to talk about his tweet. He didn't want him to talk about anything else but him trying to apologize to the Jewish community for his tweet. That is what Piers Morgan's job was in that interview. He didn't necessarily succeed with it, but he kind of did. In the sense that Ye did apologize for what he said, but he wasn't apologetic about the actual topic, and Pierre could not stop him from going into detail about what he meant.
Okay, so are you going to allow me to finish my sentence?
Yes. If you then answer my question.
Okay, so I'm going to tell people when I would apologize for the tweet. This is what has to happen first. I need all of the top executives in Hollywood. I need the top executives at the NBA and at the NFL. We'll do those two sports specifically. And I want the top executives in music, dealing with publishing, dealing with like Spotify and Apple Music and Universal Music and all the top exec. Let's do like 5 top execs there. And I want to look at the top 10 earners in each one of those fields' contracts openly. We want to compare and contrast the contracts. And then once we open that conversation, and we need to do it on a platform live with lawyers asking questions, and we'll have the top lawyers like a Johnny Cochran, Robert Kardashian level legal team, you know, looking at all of these contracts together. After that moment happens, then I will say, I'm sorry.
Okay, if that's your position.
That's clear. Interview adjourned. Love you.
Now, of course, Kanye would come back later in that interview to finish up. And later on, he actually even dove into the political party as far as Biden goes. Now, listen to this interesting facts here that he actually says.
Really interesting exchanges, actually. I want to just talk to you quickly before we finish about your kids and about you as a father. What kind of kids do you want them to be? What kind of values do you want to instill in your children?
I want my kids to finish their education. I know that my album was called The College Dropout, but when I look at the way, you know, just like you said, your kids are in the University of Chicago. We need the education. That's another thing to be jealous about. You know, the Muslims have the Quran, right? And Jewish people also have their holy books, but they have the education. And once we have the education, and we have the strong black minds, we need to pull them together. There hasn't been end-to-end black-owned communities since Black Wall Street or since the gentrification of Harlem. Like I have this tech company called STEM, right, that had the most successful launch in tech history with 80,000 STEM players as far as a first launch, right? We sold 80,000 STEM players back in February, and we went off the Apple platform, and now we're coming with the next generation that has a projector in it, and it's coming with 4,096 movies. I did that because my Amiga computer had 4,096 colors when I was in 7th grade. And also you can download films without having to use an Apple product. So I called this guy, and we're working on finishing up elements of the deal. And he's using emotional bullying, and like his shoulders are down, you could tell on the call. And he says, well, because of your comments, we're not gonna be able to hire people. It's the people that we need. And I said, well, how many people do we have working for us? He said 60, and we have 40 part-time. I said, well, how many Jewish people do we have? He said, well, I don't know. We have some. And I said, well, do we have black people working for it? He said, yeah. I said, how many? He said, 2. And I said, you're telling me we can't find 60 black engineers? Well, yeah. And see, that's where that comment that got me into so much trouble forced me to look at myself as the richest black man since Mansa Musa, right? With multiple tech companies. And where am I kicking the tires inside of my own company to ensure that I'm hiring my people? Because Chinese people hire Chinese people, and Jewish people hire Jewish people, and Catholics hire Catholics, right? But with blacks, we'll give our company to Bernard Arnault. We'll give our company to Mark Zuckerberg. We'll give our company away. And it would almost come off as anti-Semitic if I hadn't crossed that gun line so far to say, hey, I have to go and ensure that I'm hiring the brightest black minds to my black-owned tech company. You know, Kamala is our never again. We're never gonna just hand something over just because we like the way this person looks. And we have the emotional connection because she was a Delta and my mom was a Delta. She got 96% of the black female vote. You would have thought Drake was running. And we haven't seen her really honestly since. And I want to say something about the left. The left, you guys got to sit with me. Your current administration that these guys put up, they shit the pot on this one. They should have got Bernie, but Bernie had too much of a conscience. And so you got a guy with no conscience. Instead of getting Bernie Sanders, you guys got Weekend at Bernie's. And and you know that you don't like where we're at right now. So we got to have a conversation going in.
So, as you plainly heard right there, instead of them getting Bernie Sanders, who is a very conscious man and a man for the people, I mean, we don't have to go down the pipeline and resume of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has done a lot for not only the black community, but the American people in a whole. And because he's actually for the people and about telling the truth and about getting things done and about actual justice, Bernie Sanders will never be nominated for anything. So we got Joe Biden, who was basically Barack Obama's second-hand man, who we don't see too much, we don't hear from too much, doesn't do too much, and is pretty much just a political puppet just in place, as people would like to think right now. So, with that being said, Kanye West is actually whistleblowing the fact that he knows that Trump is actually going to be the last president, and we're not going to have any more presidents after that. Biden basically is there in place just to be in place. He's not necessarily pulling any strings. He's not pulling any punches. He's not making any decisions. He's just there to be there.
When you listen, I won't disagree with you about. I don't disagree with you about President Biden or Kamala Harris, for that matter. Let me ask you about someone we haven't mentioned, Vladimir.
Real quick, let's bring it back one last time, and I want you to listen to what he says here about the politics and how much Kylie and Kim have influence in the political party in the American people's agenda.
And this office, 57
and Disney.
1,000 square foot office is the one that Tucker Carlson came to visit me at. And I look out the window and whose office is being built, a brand new one? The Skims office. It's like, who's writing this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, God is funny. So that's the thing. We always got to be like, we got to be funny. We got to have a sense of humor. Like, you know.
But yeah, let me ask you.
There's a lot. Yeah.
But are you sad that you're getting divorced? Are you sad the relationship came to an end?
That happened 2 years. We got the divorce 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Are you
Piers,
actually?
we've been got divorced. What are you talking?
Yeah. I mean, let me rephrase that. Are you sad that you're no longer together, that you're divorced?
We'll always be together. She dresses exactly like me. What do you mean? Like, my kids are me. You know, there's no person that she'll ever get with that will influence her more than God and then her priest on earth, which was me. You know, whether it's the Skims clothing line, the designers, the architects, all those people. You got the Clintons, the left, utilizing what we built together to try to use her as an influence for the black culture and the word culture in general for the next elections. They need those 300 million followers from Kylie and Kim on their side going into their election as they push trauma culture to the black people again, as they claim any of my questions of business dealings to be anti-Semitic comments, and push, you know, Kim to, you know, as a billionaire mother of a lawyer and a mother of 4 Jew black children.
So as you plainly heard right there, he understands how much of an influence Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner have on the American people's and the actual political party that is going to be influencing the presidential election. So he has a very good insight on how much the media is actually manipulating the American people as a whole. Which would beg the question if this is one of the things that made him start to then remove himself from the Kardashian family. Knowing that the Kardashian family has, as he said, an agenda, to actually do that.
To do covers like Interview. And that's what happens when they take the dads out the home. And that's what they've been doing in the hood.
As we heard before, who was the person that signed off on him being hospitalized? It was Kris Jenner, Kim's mom.
They take the fathers and the leaders out of the homes. And if we keep on allowing this to happen and we don't have some level of a decency clause inside of our media on what everyone sees. Like when I was young and I would go to the video store, if I wanted to go into the adult section, it was a curtain. It was a person sitting there watching, making sure that kids didn't go in. If the kids went into that section, there was a video camera and they would have you be escorted out of that section. Now that section is forced through TikTok. That section is subverted and kind of mixed with the drink inside of music directed at children, inside of content through Disney, on Hulu, which is Disney also, and in so many branded commercials to confuse children and to sexualize our children way too early before they can even make their own decisions about their life.
And as you can see, it just plainly got annoying that every time Kanye tried to make a very, very valid fact point, Pierre would try to shut him up and revert him back to the stupid Jewish comment tweet that he had already emphasized that he was not necessarily apologetic about, but he knows that the Jewish community, it's not necessarily the Jewish people, it's more of Jewish people that are in business. And it's not a secret that majority of people that own businesses are the Jewish community. What Kanye is trying to say is he doesn't have anything against Jewish people. He, in fact, knows that black people are the original Jews. But what he's trying to just emphasize on is the fact that the Jewish community runs the entire entertainment industry. And he even let people know that if we were just to look at the contracts, if we were just to look at the people that are actually signing these contracts and signing these checks off for these deals, who is actually running the Hollywood industry, a lot of it comes from the Jewish community. And that is all Kanye West was trying to say. Now, we're going to get into when Kanye West now admits that he knows his mom was an actual sacrifice.
They try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name. Exactly. It's up.
Not you.
You know what I'm saying? And just for Minister Farrakhan, I love you, but the way you read that, I took that as a slight. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking no disrespect from nobody. So let's get on the phone and let's talk that out. I don't care who you are. I ain't taking no slice from nobody, right? I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm appreciative.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
So Kanye West basically admits that he knows his mom was sacrificed. And he knows that his mom was sacrificed in a mix to make him be controlled. He just admitted it. As we did the timeline before, 2005, George Bush doesn't care about black people. 2007 is when his mom is killed in the surgery. 2009, 2 years later, after his mom is killed in surgery, he goes to the down spiral of the VMAs in 2009. Following that 2009 incident, we would then see the down spiral of Kanye West.
And God loved me. You understand? They hit me. Gap, Adidas, all that away. Still, Forbes, who hate me, right, had to write net worth $400 million. Jesus is king. God loved me.
That's more important than thinking in life.
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? And this truth is gonna be heard. Y'all can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozy, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they have legal. I never killed nobody, right? I'm the pussy that never killed nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to jail.
Yes, but can do video.
Let's look at the full interview of this.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, I know today's a very important day, and
Kanye's being publicly executed and prepared to die, unfortunately. And we have been watching it over the past, I want to say, 10 to 14 years now. Since the passing of his mom and the VMAs incident, the entire entertainment industry has done nothing but target Kanye West. But the fact that remains that as long as Kanye West speaks out loudly and proudly, they can't necessarily remove him. Because he keeps saying that he knows that they're going to remove him, and oh, if I do this, they're going to remove me. Oh, if I do this, they're going to remove me. He knows that they can't do anything now. Because then it'll raise the question and start pointing fingers at who killed Kanye West, but he's already whistleblowed who's going to kill him.
I too feel the same. 2007 was a very special year for me. And I know that her memory will always be in your heart, and I wanted to wear my Dove shirt just to represent for Donda. And I just want to say my heart goes out to you, and I don't have anything else to say, bro. I just want to give you your flowers and continue doing everything that you're doing. We're on your side, bro.
I mean, I really appreciate that. You know, just for you guys understanding the humanity. The very first time I was ever given some medication, it was actually related to an incident with the paparazzi in front of the airport, where I wrestled down the same paparazzi that used to be following Britney. And then they sent me to anger management class. I don't want to sign those right now, bro. I'm not going to sign them right now. All right, so they sent me this anger management class, and then the guy just gave me some medication, just like, yo, take this. I had never taken medication my entire life. And one doctor said, okay, this started like this slope or something. And, you know, the interesting thing, they saw the Harley text to me, and people are looking over it. You know, the media has run all these stories smearing me for saying, hey, I can't be anti-Semitic if I'm a Semite, because I am. Because that's who we are. Black people we don't have a flag. Our history's been stolen from us. You go to the African American Museum, it starts in slavery. It doesn't start before then. They don't talk about Mansa Musa. They don't talk about us being here before. So I want to read this text out to you again, right? Because people need to not forget this. So when I put up the tweet, I was going back and forth with Harley saying, hey, I'm angry. I'm angry at how these Jewish business people have done me and so many of my friends. Are they doing, can you tell them to be quiet? Yeah.
Excuse me, disculpe, estamos haciendo un video, por favor. Gracias. Thank you.
Is he still talking?
Let me answer.
That's it.
Thank you.
So, and to this date, right? Y'all done seen everything be proven. I got kicked out of the banks. Ari Emanuel asked all these businesses to stop doing business with me.
You heard he almost started to say, I got kicked out of the Illuminati. Because he knows he's been kicked out of the Freemasonry and Illuminati and that whole system. He's no longer a 33rd degree masonry. He's no longer a 33rd degree mason, excuse me. And he knows that his connections have been slimmed and cut ties with.
Now, yeah, I was in negotiation with Adidas because that was my issue. They were getting lawyers to sign over my IP, different things without me being aware of it, like people signing on my behalf. And this is part of the problems I had with Adidas. So now the world has got to see how Adidas was as a partner. The fact that they would attempt to steal my designs. And that's happened a lot in history, right?
Right.
But now y'all get to see it in real life. Like, and that's the difference. Like, let's read this Harley text out loud when he was threatening me, you know, forcing me to apologize, you know, about the frustration. And no one ever said, okay, this is what you're doing. Even in fact, TMZ is gonna say Kanye West, right? And my name is legally Ye now. It's always some form of disrespect. No matter if you're the richest black man or what happens. What's up, bro? You part of this?
Sorry, it's ballet.
This what?
It's ballet. He's looking right now. Ponte un poquito atrás. Gracias. Thank you.
Just go over there, man. Ve allá, por favor. Just that he was a part of the whole making noise over there. All right, so let me read these Harley texts. This is how he was threatening. This is a trainer, but come to find out, he was actually Canadian intelligence, but this is my trainer. So this shows you the kind of handlers that are around the superstars in California, right? So it says, I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you, or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same.
And that was a trainer actually doing that. And he said Canadian intelligence. So he had the government watching him for quite some time. And for him to actually read a tweet that says, I'll put you back in Zombieland, that just further confirms back in 2016 where he did the whole rant. And he was hospitalized. Kanye necessarily didn't get hospitalized and just sent back home like, oh, you're good. I know you had a brain aneurysm or whatever. Fine, we got you some medication. Kanye West was hospitalized to then be put under more MK Ultra and further evaluation and following him. They basically wanted to keep tabs on him mentally and make sure they can control him somehow through the medication. But that would backfire, of course, because, as you just heard, Kanye can't necessarily be controlled mentally. He can go through a spiral of things, of course, due to his honeycomb effect that Sloan Bella mentioned, but he won't necessarily conform ever.
This is the way a Hollywood trainer was talking to me to force me to go and like apologize, right? But even though they ended the deals and you know, Farrakhan said, hey, you know, did he really ever have it? Let me explain to Farrakhan what that meant. My contract for Adidas was for 4 more years. My royalty was $500 million a year. That's what I meant when I said the $2 billion was lost in a day. Because of the negotiation with Adidas, I wanted to negotiate something where it's like, okay, you guys, you'll take the Yeezy, but we still get the royalties. And people saw, it's like when we dealt with George Floyd, different things, I'm the one put the money up. You know what I'm saying? I put $2 million. I always support it in every one of these situations. So you think about if Harley was part of intelligence, right? What kind of people you think are surrounding my kids? What kind of people you think are in that house right now? My kids go to Sierra Canyon. It's a Jewish school that doesn't teach Christianity to these Christian kids. At Christmas time, they're teaching Kwanzaa to black kids. They say, hey, this is your Christmas. This is all indoctrination. This is all mind control. You gotta understand, like I don't believe I'm putting myself at risk because I think God uses me for a time like this. He put me in this situation and had y'all follow me from George Bush Don't Care to, you know, I had the best video to now. For some reason, y'all are interested. 2 Chainz said, why is so pro buckle? Y'all niggas shoulders looking. Like, y'all are interested for some reason. And they wanted to medicate me every day. You realize, like, they could have just switched to medication and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue, right?
Yeah.
I ain't never been back to the hospital since 2015, but every time they say I'm crazy, it's just when I'm saying the truth. So what's the crazy part, really? What's the crazy part, really?
They can't scare you, they can't control you, they try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
Not
You see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up.
Not you.
You know what I'm saying? And just for Minister Farrakhan, I love you, but the way you read that, I took that as a slight. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking no disrespect from nobody, so let's get on the phone and let's talk that out. I don't care who you are. I ain't taking no slights from nobody, right? I ain't taking no slights from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mama ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm Christian too.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize. And God loved me. You understand? They hit me. Gap, Adidas, all that away. Still Forbes, who hate me, right? Had to write net worth 400 million. Jesus is king. God loved me.
That's more important thing in life.
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? And this truth is gonna be heard. Y'all can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozies, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they're dealing with, they have legal, I never killed nobody, right? I'm the pussy that never killed nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to jail. And even if they did figure out a way, I'm still not backing down from what I said. It's Jewish people that did bad business. I'm Semite, so I can't be anti-Semitic. They stole our history from us. They stole who we are, and it's up. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all have a good night.
Good night. You too, Kanye.
And in our, let's just say, conclusion of Ye, there was a rumor going around that Kanye West had been banned from the Super Bowl because Taylor Swift was there. Oh boy. So, let's see here. Says Kanye West denies rumors of Taylor Swift had him thrown out of the Super Bowl. So Kanye West is shutting down this rumor after it was reported that he had bought a ticket in front of Taylor Swift's Super Bowl suite, and she then had him removed. But the rapper's rep told Forbes, "This is a complete fabricated rumor. It is not true." As for how the rumor got started, former NFL player Brandon Marshall alleged West picked a seat in front of Swift's suite at Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium knowing that the cameras would be on her as she cheered on boyfriend Travis Kelsey and the Kansas City Chiefs in their big game against the San Francisco 49ers at the Super Bowl. He had a mask on with his logo on the mask, right? Typical Kanye. The wide receiver said on a recent episode of a I Am Athlete's Paper Route podcast, Taylor Swift gets pissed off. She boom, boom, makes a call or two. Everybody's involved. He gets kicked out of the stadium. He was trying to leverage her celebrity. It's no secret the two have had a long history, and then blah 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 goes on to, of course, their history of the VMA incident. But lo and behold, Kanye would have the last laugh on this particular situation here. Kanye actually invested $7 million to do a Super Bowl commercial. So let's take a look at that Super Bowl commercial, shall we?
Hey y'all, this Gary, and this is my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is, I want you to go to Yeezy.com, Yeezy.com, and I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen. And I got some shoes, and that's it.
And all he had to do was spend $7 million on an ad. $7 million on an ad, and boom. $19 million in Yeezy sales on the spike. So Kanye West, known for his boundary-pushing creativity in both music and fashion, made headlines yet again with his unorthodox Super Bowl commercial promoting his Yeezy fashion line. Opting for a stripped-down approach, West's 30-second spot, reportedly costing nearly $7 million, stood out amidst the glitz and glamour typically associated with Super Bowl commercials. This gamble paid off handsomely for the rapper turned entrepreneur following the ad's airing. West's album surged to the top of the Billboard rankings in 100 countries, a testament to the commercial's impact. Moreover, a social media post from West revealed a staggering 294,000 orders placed on Yeezy.com, resulting in a remarkable $19.3 million in sales. Go Yeezy. So, in a sense, Mr. Kanye has always seemed to find a way to have the last laugh on the media and make sure that he lets them know that he's not going to stop talking. No matter how much they try to put my man down and not let him speak his piece and tell the truth, he's going to be a whistleblower until he goes. Another person we're going to get into is DMX, because the same exact thing that happened to DMX is similar to what is happening to Kanye. But as I said before, the reason why they can't just off Kanye is because Kanye consistently stays talking. The louder Kanye stays, the quieter they have to keep on getting rid of him. Kanye is going to be very, very difficult to remove because because of the fact that he knows that they have to make him silent before they can remove him, and the hospitalization was in fact supposed to make him silent. But as we all know, that did not necessarily work. It's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult to kill someone that is loud. You can kill someone when it's quiet, but you can never kill them when it is loud. And with that being said, Kanye West is going to remain being loud until the day he goes.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we got to finally break down what happened to my man. With that being said, y'all, till next time, peace!
My type of women like to cuddle, but don't sleep on the money. My type of women like to talk, but don't talk to no dummy. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A type of dudes don't be calling, trying to blow up a phone. A type of dudes getting money, but don't leave her alone. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. I need a woman that can cook and clean. She need a good man that fucking mean. I kick it paying all bills, yeah, I foot the fee. Yeah, I know she bad and bougie, but she good to me. We talking king shit, I love to show her royalty. I need a queen, quick to always show her loyalty. And when even a nigga off, she be on with me. She DEF the fuck boy, she supported G. That's how it always be. Yeah, it's a baddie, it's a baddie. Make it clap, patty cake with that fatty. Yeah, she love it. Making money. Keep it coming, keep it cunning. Hate but complaining, haters do nothing. My type of women like to cuddle, but don't sleep on the money. My type of women like to talk, but don't talk to no dummy. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A type of dudes don't be calling, trying to blow up a phone. A type of dudes getting money, but don't leave her alone. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer.